The Irrational Confidence Podcast. It's the Wisconsin Badges. They're going to the land of Hollywood. They're going to La La Land, going and facing the USC Trojans, coming off of a tough loss in Ann Arbor. At time of record, USC is a 15.5-point favorite. Over-under is set at 51.5 points here. Fresh, let me give you a comparison for USC. Rocky 3 gets beat the crap out of Mr. T. Clubber Lang destroys him in the first fight. And USC gets destroyed by the Michigan pass rush in their first ever taste of Big Ten football play. They got the eye of the tiger here. Are they able to bounce back? Or is Wisconsin going to be able to get after them a little bit? Did we see how you beat USC? You pressure the quarterback, and the offensive line is not able to keep up.
Well, first of all, pity the fool who thinks Wisconsin can actually compete in this ballgame. I have not seen anything from the Badgers in the first 3 weeks that gives me any sign that this offense and this defense are ready to compete at a high level. They struggled versus the first two opponents with South Dakota and Western Michigan. Western Michigan team that was absolutely horrendous last year came in there week one and gave them all they could handle. And then, yes, Tyler Van Dyke got hurt, but that defense wasn't really showing up to actually stop Jalen Milroe on that Alabama offense a couple weeks ago. Luke Fickell, Tressel, Phil Longo, what are y'all doing? You get all these resources, you're in the Big Ten, you should be able to sell it, and you have gotten nothing changed. It is a boring product. There's no attacking on the defense. You have a solid corner and solid safety. There's no one up front seven making plays. Usually they're a bunch of no-name players at Wisconsin who will emerge over time as front seven players. We don't see that right now. Cheney's a good linebacker. But he's not the difference maker. He's not the Watt out there who's getting, 3 or 4 sacks a ball game. This Wisconsin team is a shell. Their offensive line has been abysmal. They have not been able to move anything at all this year, much less protect the quarterback on any kind of passing situation. Will Pauling, Williams, the whole coach of receivers, we're not getting anything pop. Maluzzi, Walker, the running backs, we're not getting that pop. This is not do you want to make the splash higher? We go and get Luke Fickell for what he did in 2 years at Cincinnati. What are we getting in return? What are the Badgers faithful getting in return? Nothing. They're getting an average football team and an average recruiting class, nothing being produced on the field. Something has got to change. If you get beat here in this game to USC and you go back-to-back losses, and I've got a feeling if you lose, you're going to lose pretty heavily. You're 2-2. Where do you go from there? This is a program defining fork in the road for Luke Fickell and this entire coaching staff of this program. You've got to show up in the Coliseum and take on Lincoln Riley. You brought up the point of the blueprint is there. Wisconsin's offensive and defensive line are not going to be what Michigan's offensive and defensive line are, but you have to imitate the best you possibly can. I know you want to run the air raid, Phil. At some point, you see, like, we're going 2 tight ends. We're just going to run the ball down their throat. Get physical. I don't care about running this. Tyler Van Dyke's not playing the rest of the year. You have Braden Locke or you have Marbury Medor, whatever you want to call him, the freshman quarterback. To protect both of those kids, just go 2 tight and run the ball down their throat. Run left, run right, run center. 3.5, 4 yards of play. You just control the clock and be physical at the line of scrimmage. Challenge your offensive line to own the line of scrimmage. Because if you can't even do that, the most simplistic thing, this program's in trouble. Offensive linemen hate pass blocking, but it gets you paid. They love run blocking. Let them run block. Build their confidence up, because right now they look defeated, they look beaten up, and there's no hope. You've got to just get away from, we're going to come out and be this flash in the pan, air raid offense, and spread it along. It's not Wisconsin. I don't care who you are. That's not Wisconsin. They are a pro-style run-first approach. Look, you try to change it. Now, one thing we've learned both playing college football 2025, you cannot make every team run a different playbook. You have to play to the team's strengths. Wisconsin is offensive lineman, run the football, control it, down distance, passing game, managing the situation, and playing good defense. And then you can control the pace and you play from ahead. That's what you have to do to beat USC. Your defensive front, you've got to attack. Your secondary, I think you got some talent back there to hang out and get after Miller Moss and that receiving corps, but you've got to apply pressure. They have not applied pressure in the first few weeks. Nobody got close to Jalen Milroe. Milroe, we'll talk about him later. during a Georgia Alabama preview. But the guy's a gifted athlete, has great moves, has a great arm. Not many people are going to contain him, but you at least need to make a try. They didn't really do much the first 2 weeks either. Where's his pass rush going to come on the defensive side? When are you going to start releasing that philosophy between Tressel and Tickle? Offensively, you're not playing right. Defensively, you're not playing right. 2-2 with a loss to Alabama and USC, not going to help you on the recruiting trail. It's going to really start hurting the locker room of that entire program. Fans are going to start tuning out. It's going to be a bad rest of the fall if you don't come in here at least show up. I'm not saying you're going to win, but if you get blown out by USC, who is already angry that they blew a game versus Michigan, you're in trouble. On the other side, Lincoln Riley. You hold them to 8 yards total offense in the second half, and in the last drive, your defense just gives up again. Challenge your defense this week. You gave 3 runs of 40-plus yards that really defined the entire football game, and you threw a pick 6. Yeah. That front seven played well. Your offense couldn't score early. You fell behind. You fought back, and you couldn't finish. Typical Lincoln Riley football team. Can't finish. You've got to challenge your entire locker room. You've made significant strides defensively. I think we made that point before, but you're still not there. Barry Alexander, where are you? You're getting paid buku millions of dollars to go out here, go from Georgia to USC. You didn't show up last year, and you weren't visible in the big house on Saturday. Go out there and make something happen. You're supposed to be a big-time nose tackle, 2 technique, 3 technique. Go out there and earn it. If you want to get drafted in the NFL, show us that you're actually worthy of it. Make a couple plays, shut down the running game. Be a bear for once. USC's offense, got to get a little kick started early. When you played LSU, you went right down the field, you scored, you kind of said, all right, here, we're here to play. I didn't see that versus Michigan, and granted, Michigan's defense is pretty good, but you got to attack. Got to attack. Take the will of the Wisconsin Badgers team away from them early and on. If you let them hang around, they might be able to contend. I guarantee a lot of Badger fans are actually going to make the trip to the Coliseum because there's a lot out there in the Arizona, California area. It's going to be an easy trip for them to sort of meet up and watch their fans, watch their team play out in the West Coast. Do not let any of those. It's 100,000 people in the Coliseum. You're going to have about 20 to 30,000 Wisconsin fans probably sitting there. Do not let them be allowed in the second half. USC fans, show up. Be aggressive. You have a football team here that needs your support. Do not tune this one out. Do not let the Wisconsin Badger fans come in. At least give their team a chance and give them some hope. This has got to be about a statement of a program's will. USC, are you truly ready to compete and move forward and show that you change your culture? Or are you just going to be another flash in the pan Lincoln Riley football team that, when all is said and done, are just a hollow paper tiger? I struggle right now trying to think that Wisconsin can win with a backup quarterback, and it's still kind of undecided who that is, and no true evident offense. I think they muck around early in the first half, but the second half, USC is going to pull away. Miller Moss, looking pretty confident in the pocket. I think he has a nice afternoon once it's all said and done. USC bounces back and gets a win, but Wisconsin makes it a fight in the first half.
Here's the thing that when I dove into USC, we want to put a lot of stock in week 1 against LSU. Want to put a lot of stock in that game. And then week 2, they beat Utah State, and they absolutely smoke them. They get a bye week going in against the Wolverines in Ann Arbor. And then they kind of lay a dud. Here's what's concerning for me. The underlying trend between these games here, Fresh, is USC's inability to stop the run. And that's what plays into Wisconsin's hands in this. Going to the backup quarterback, because you don't have Tyler Van Dyke, you are going to lean on that stable of running backs that you have in Madison. And you go back and look at the LSU game, and LSU still got 4.5 yards per carry. Michigan put up 6.9 yards a carry, 290 yards on this USC defense. I think that USC can be run on. I really do. And, we want to criticize Wisconsin. And again, I was trying to think about this going, all right, we give everyone a break during week 1 because there is no preseason. And Wisconsin didn't look great against Western Michigan, but they still walked out with a W and still wound up winning in the second half pretty strongly. They struggled with South Dakota. Okay. And then Alabama comes and smacks them in the mouth. All right. USC is not Alabama. I don't think that they are even close to that level. I don't think they have the Hogs up front for this. I honestly think if Wisconsin can, and I'm going to say this right now, if I'm Luke Fickell and I'm making the game plan this week for the Badgers, I am saying we want to possess the ball for 36 minutes in this football game. We want to run the football. We want to run the football again, and then maybe run the football a third time. And then if depending on, maybe we'll run on fourth down as well. I want to go 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of running against them. And I'm going to make this game very, very ugly and beat them up front. Here's the reason why I think that they do that. I think that USC early on in this football game is going to sell out to stop the run and force one of the young quarterbacks to beat them. I think that's what's going to happen. The difference is I think this USC team will eventually wear down in that situation. As Wisconsin continues to try, it's kind of like punching that brick. You know, you keep on hitting it, and you aren't making any damage whatsoever. And then all of a sudden you start chipping it. And you see these little breaks come out. If we start seeing Wisconsin break off runs of 6-7 yards in the second quarter, watch out for this game. Because then I feel like Wisconsin is in line to do something big where they're going to hit a big run, get a couple of touchdowns. Now, are they going to be able to stop USC's offense? Are they going to be able to stop the run game and Miller Moss in this? I don't know about that. That's a bigger question. But how does Wisconsin do this and pull the upset? 36 minutes of ball control offense and running the football, being able to run it down USC's throat here as well. Fresh, I'm with you. USC is going to win this football game. I honestly think Wisconsin's going to give USC a battle. I'm seeing like a 31-27 type of game, 31-24 type of game, somewhere in there. I like I like Wisconsin the points in this game. But that's just me. I just think that Wisconsin's really going to control the line of scrimmage in this football game. They're not going to get enough stops to keep it where it doesn't get completely out of hand.
I don't see them scoring more than 20 points, and that offensive line has not shown me they can control the line of scrimmage. So if they do, major props to them. But this is just 1 year and 3 games in where they have not shown any of that, fortitude. And this is going to start to become telling on Luke Fickell that if you don't win here with Wisconsin to put up a decent season, you were just a 2-year blip at radar in Cincinnati in the AAC, and you had really to play for 2 games your entire time, and reality is going to catch up with you real quick. So this is a program. Again, we're back to a program sort of setting where's the direction of the Wisconsin football team since he's arrived.
Right.